The key still felt wrong in my hand as I approached my front door, Mom's door. 3 months wasn't long enough to make it feel like mine. But the unfamiliar silver sedan in the driveway was definitely wrong. My steps slowed as I noticed warm light spilling from the living room windows, though I'd left every room dark this morning. I pushed the door open to the sound of laughter and clinking dishes. The scent of someone else's cooking filled the house, garlic and oregano that Mom would never have used. "Hello." My voice cracked slightly. "Alara. There you are, sweetheart." Dad stepped into the hallway, arms wide like we were in some heartwarming reunion scene. Behind him, a woman I'd never met was arranging flowers in Mom's favorite vase. Two teenage girls hovered near the stairs, both clutching their phones like lifelines. "What are you doing here?" I managed to ask, my bag sliding from my shoulder to thud against the hardwood floor. "Can't a father visit his daughter?" Dad's smile was exactly as I remembered, warm on the surface, but never quite reaching his eyes. "This is Marigold, by the way. And her girls, Leora and Seraphine." Marigold waved, her bangles jingling. "We've heard so much about you, Alara. Your father talks about you constantly." That was rich, considering he hadn't called once since Mom's funeral. I forced myself to nod, watching as Marigold continued rearranging Mom's things like she owned them. A family photo had already been shifted to make room for her generic grocery store bouquet. "How long are you visiting?" I asked, emphasis heavy on the last word. Dad's smile flickered. "Well, about that. We thought, since you're all alone in this big house." He gestured vaguely at his new family. "We could stay a while. Help you adjust." The walls seemed to close in as I processed his words. This wasn't a visit. This was an invasion, wrapped in concern and tied with guilt. I watched Seraphine dump her backpack on Mom's antique chair, and something inside me hardened. "I need a change," I said quietly, brushing past them all. But as I climbed the stairs, I heard Marigold's voice drift up behind me. "Don't worry, Silas. She'll come around. They always do." Morning light filtered through Mom's lace curtains as I descended the stairs, only to freeze at the sight of Marigold reorganizing the kitchen cabinets. Our plates and bowls sat in neat stacks on the counter, replaced by her own floral pattern set. "Oh good, you're up." She beamed. "I hope you don't mind. I thought we could use a fresh start in here." Before I could respond, Dad appeared with a stack of mail. "Princess, did you know your property taxes are past due?" "I have it handled," I said, reaching for the envelope. He pulled it away, scanning the notice with furrowed brows. "You know, if you're struggling." He exchanged a meaningful look with Marigold. "We could help with the finances. Make this a proper family home again." The word again hit like a slap. He'd walked out on our family home 15 years ago. Leora drifted in, her dark hair still wet from using my shower. "Mom, where did you put my medication?" "I can't find it anywhere." "Check the master bathroom, sweetie." I reorganized everything this morning. My coffee mug nearly slipped from my hand. "The master bathroom?" "We thought it made sense for your father and me to take the larger room," Marigold said smoothly. "You understand, don't you? With two of us." I set my mug down before I could throw it. "That's my mother's room." "Was," Dad corrected gently. "Alara, we need to be practical. The house is too big for just you, and with our situation." "What situation?" I demanded. Seraphine chose that moment to thunder down the stairs.
Mom.
"The Wi-Fi's too slow. Can we get it upgraded?" "Of course, darling." "Silas, add that to the list." Marigold touched my arm. "We'll split the cost, naturally. That's what family does." I pulled away, noticing for the first time the stack of moving boxes in the living room corner. They weren't labeled visiting, they were labeled kitchen and master bedroom. "I have to get to work," I managed, grabbing my keys. But as I reached the door, I heard Marigold's phone buzz. Her whispered response made my blood run cold. "Yes, we're in." She doesn't suspect a thing about the will yet. Instead of going to work, I drove to Mom's lawyer's office. Sarah buzzed me in immediately, her face tight with concern as I explained about Marigold's phone call. "There's something you need to see," she said, pulling a thick folder from her filing cabinet. "Your mother made me promise to wait until you needed it." The documents inside made my hands shake. Bank statements, credit reports, and legal notices, all showing Dad's mounting debts and 3 previous marriages. Each ended with him claiming partial ownership of his ex-wife's properties. Celeste knew he might try this, Sarah explained. That's why she made the inheritance ironclad. My phone buzzed, a text from Leora. Mom's going through your mom's jewelry box. Says she's cataloging family heirlooms. I rushed home to find Marigold wearing Mom's sapphire pendant, the one she'd promised would be mine on my wedding day. Dad sat nearby, papers spread across the coffee table. Just the person I wanted to see, he smiled. We need to discuss the mortgage refinancing. Take it off, I cut in, staring at Marigold. She touched the pendant. Oh, this old thing? Silas said it was just collecting dust. That's my mother's. My voice cracked. And I know about the others, Dad. Sarah showed me everything. The charm drained from his face. What others? Your ex-wives. The bankruptcies. The property claims. Each word felt like a weapon. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Marigold's fingers tightened around the pendant. Silas, handle this. Princess, he started, reaching for me. You don't understand. Don't call me that. I backed away. You have until tomorrow to get out. All of you. We're family, he insisted. Your mother would want. Mom knew exactly what you'd try to do. I pulled out my phone, showing them Sarah's number on speed dial. And she made sure you couldn't. Seraphine appeared at the top of the stairs, clutching a familiar leather-bound book. Mom. I found her diary. The look Marigold and Dad exchanged told me everything. They weren't just after the house. They were searching for something specific. Something Mom had hidden. I snatched Mom's diary from Seraphine's hands, but something fluttered from between its pages. A bank statement from an account I'd never seen before. Dad lunged for it, but Leora was faster. Holy shit, she whispered, scanning the document. Mom, there's like... Marigold silenced her with a sharp look. Leora, give that to your father. No, I said, reaching for the paper. This is my mother's. Leora hesitated, looking between us. Then she crumpled the statement into her pocket. I need some air. I followed her onto the back porch, leaving Dad and Marigold arguing in hushed, urgent tones inside. Leora lit a cigarette with trembling hands. They're not just after the house, are they? I asked. She exhaled slowly. Mom married your dad 2 weeks after meeting him. Said it was fate. Her laugh was bitter. More like, she found out about your mom's secret account. What do you mean? This is the 3rd time, Leora continued. Different house, different story, same ending. Mom finds wealthy single parents, preferably widowed or dying. Dad swoops in, plays Prince Charming. The porch door creaked. Seraphine stood there, pale. They're calling the locksmith. Something about a safe in the master bedroom wall. My heart stopped. Mom's old jewelry safe. I'd forgotten it existed. Alara? Leora touched my arm. Whatever's in there, they can't get it. Not this time. I rushed upstairs to find Dad already measuring the wall, Marigold directing him like a conductor. The sapphire pendant glinted at her throat like a trophy. Get away from there. Princess, Dad turned, all concern. We're just securing the family valuables. They're not your family valuables. I pulled out my phone. Sarah's already filed a police report about the unauthorized entry. They'll be here in 10 minutes. Marigold's mask finally cracked. You ungrateful little... Mom. Leora appeared beside me, holding up the bank statement. It's over. For the first time, I saw real fear in my father's eyes. Not of losing me, but of losing whatever secret Mom had locked away, the truth he and Marigold had come to steal. The police arrived just as Marigold was frantically shoving jewelry into her purse. While they took statements, I noticed Leora slipping something under my door. A USB drive with evidence scrawled across it in Sharpie. Later that night, after everyone had finally gone to sleep, I plugged it in. Photos filled my screen. Documents from previous marriages, court records, and social media posts showing Marigold and Dad with other families. Other homes. Other victims. A soft knock, made me jump. Seraphine stood in my doorway, hugging herself. "She's not really calling a locksmith," she whispered. "Mom hired someone else. They're coming tomorrow while you're at work." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I was there when Mrs. Henderson died." Her voice cracked. "The last time Mom and Dad did this. She was sick like your mom and they—" She couldn't finish. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. "Just found something in your mother's safety deposit box. Come first thing tomorrow. Urgent." "They won't stop," Seraphine continued. "Not until they get whatever's in that safe. Mom thinks it's evidence of Dad's embezzlement from before, something your mom found out." Footsteps creaked in the hallway. Marigold appeared, her smile razor-sharp in the darkness. "Seraphine, darling, what are you doing up?" "I was just—" "Go to bed." Marigold's voice left no room for argument. As Seraphine scurried away, my stepmother's eyes locked onto my laptop screen. My, Leora's been quite busy, hasn't she? Get out of my house." "Oh, but we can't leave." She toyed with Mom's pendant. "Not until we find what Celeste hid. Your father's freedom depends on it, you see. And I'm sure you don't want him in prison." The threat hung between us like poison. Dad's freedom, or Mom's final secret. But as I looked at Marigold wearing my mother's necklace, I realized Mom hadn't just left me the house. She'd left me a choice: protect Dad one last time, or finally let him face the consequences of his actions. I heard Mom's voice in my head. "Sometimes love means letting go." Sarah's hands shook as she handed me the safety deposit box contents, a thick manila envelope and a USB drive. "Your mother recorded everything. The embezzlement, the previous marriages, even Mrs. Henderson's suspicious death." Before I could process this, my phone buzzed with a text from Leora. "They're breaking into the safe now." I raced home to find the master bedroom door locked. Inside, I heard power tools grinding against metal. "Dad, stop." I pounded on the door. "The police are already." The grinding ceased. The door opened to reveal Dad holding Mom's old leather briefcase, Marigold clutching a stack of papers. "It's not what you think," Dad started. "It's exactly what I think." I held up the USB drive. "Mom knew everything. About the money you stole, about Mrs. Henderson." "That was an accident," Marigold snapped. "She fell." "After you changed her medication?" Seraphine appeared in the hallway, pale. "Mom, you promised nobody else would get hurt." "Quiet." Marigold's mask finally shattered. She grabbed Mom's briefcase from Dad. "Silas, handle your daughter." "Princess." Dad reached for me. "We can explain." "Don't touch me." I backed away. "The police are coming." Mom left evidence with her lawyer. "No," Marigold laughed. "She left it in this safe. And now." But her triumph died as she opened the briefcase. Inside was a single sheet of paper, Mom's handwriting. "The real evidence is with the FBI. I'm sorry, Silas, but our daughter deserves better." Dad's face crumpled. For the first time, I saw real fear in his eyes. "Elara, please." "I'm still your father." Sirens wailed in the distance. Marigold grabbed her purse, but Leora blocked the doorway. "Move," she ordered her daughter.
"No."
Leora's voice shook. "Not this time." As blue lights flooded the windows, I realized Mom's final lesson wasn't about revenge at all. It was about breaking cycles, about choosing truth over comfortable lies, about letting go of the father I wished I had, to become the person I needed to be. The front door splintered below as federal agents entered, and I knew there was no going back. As FBI agents led Dad and Marigold downstairs, I noticed something glinting beneath Mom's dresser, the sapphire pendant, dropped in the chaos. But when I reached for it, my fingers found something else, a sealed envelope with my name in Mom's handwriting. Inside was a key and a letter dated just weeks before she died. "My dearest Elara, by now you've seen what your father truly is. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from this pain, but I knew you needed to face it yourself." The key opens the old hope chest in the attic, the one place they'd never think to look. Remember, strength isn't about revenge. It's about choosing who we become after we've been broken. All my love, Mom. They're asking for you downstairs, Leora said from the doorway. Mom's demanding a deal. In the living room, Marigold sat handcuffed, but still somehow imperious. Ilara, darling, let's be reasonable. Drop the charges, and we'll split whatever's in that safe. There's nothing to split. I held up Mom's key. The evidence was never in the safe. Dad's face went ash white. The hope chest. Celeste's old hope chest. The one you could never open, I finished. Because Mom knew someday I'd need to make this choice myself. Marigold lunged forward, but the agents held her back. You ungrateful little. I'm not ungrateful. I cut in. I'm grateful Mom showed me what real love looks like. What real family means. I'm still your father, Dad pleaded.
No.
I touched the letter in my pocket. You're just the man who taught me what kind of person I don't want to be. As they led them away, Seraphine touched my arm. What happens to us now? I looked at her and Leora. Two girls caught in their mother's web, just like I'd been caught in Dad's. Mom's words echoed in my mind. Strength isn't about revenge.
You stay, I said.
If you want to, we can figure out together. The hope chest could wait until tomorrow. Tonight was about choosing who we'd become, now that we were finally free to choose it all. A month after the arrests, I finally opened Mom's hope chest. Leora and Seraphine sat beside me as dust motes danced in the attic's morning light. Inside, beneath stacks of photos and letters, lay a leather portfolio containing everything. Dad's original embezzlement records, documentation of his previous marriages, and a handwritten confession from his first wife about Marigold's involvement in a decades-long scheme. But it was the small velvet box that made my hands shake. Inside, a note wrapped around Mom's sapphire pendant. For when you're ready to write your own story. The FBI said Mom could have stopped them years ago, I said, touching the pendant's smooth surface. She had everything they needed. Why didn't she? Seraphine asked. Because she knew I needed to choose. I clasped the necklace around my neck. Not just about Dad, but about who I wanted to be. Leora helped me carry Mom's old dresser downstairs, where we'd made space for it in the girls' shared room. As we arranged their things in the drawers, I noticed Seraphine had pinned a photo to her mirror. Mom and me at my high school graduation, both laughing. Is it weird, she asked, having us here? No, I answered truthfully. It's like Mom knew somehow that helping you break free would help me too. Later, sorting through the last of Marigold's abandoned belongings, I found a recent photo of Dad with his new family. My first instinct was to tear it up, but instead, I placed it in a box marked past. The doorbell rang, Sarah bringing dinner and case updates. As we gathered around Mom's old dining table, I realized something. The house no longer felt haunted by what I'd lost. Instead, it had become a sanctuary for what we'd found, 3 daughters of manipulation who'd chosen to write a different ending. Mom's final letter sat framed on my bedside table, but I didn't need to read it anymore. I knew what it said about strength and choices, about becoming who we need to be. But mostly, I knew she'd been right about the most important thing. Sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the family you're born into. And sometimes justice looks less like revenge